Hello there. Today we're going to be reacting to season 2 of trailer of ANDOR. That's the one. I hear what you're asking though, SKYMAN. Where have you been all this time? Have you not been reacting to the Skeleton Crew? And were you going to do this? Yes, I'm going to be doing ANDOR. I've been very much looking forward to ANDOR. Skeleton Crew, I'm not so sure if I was going to react on that. I nearly did. Thought it was more of a kid's show, but I haven't still watched Skeleton Crew, so that potentially could be a thing if you wanted me to. But I just, usually when there's a Star Wars show that happens, my feed gets littered with everything. Spoilers, there's Star Wars this, Star Wars that. But there was nothing. It was just quiet on the Western Front. There was not a single thing. And I just thought, well, maybe it perhaps wasn't that interesting or what have you. Or at the very least, I hope it wasn't controversial, which I don't think it was. What I've heard from people thus far is that it's a solid show and it's just enjoyable and good. So maybe I might save that for down the road, maybe with my kids. I don't know. But yeah, the thing which I needed the time off for was because of what that show, the name I will not hear uttered in these halls. Yeah, really, it put me off in a way which I cannot describe properly, and it just sunk me into this real sort of, Star Wars is my main thing, which I love so much, and you put all your heart into it. It's been with you since you were younger, so you sort of keep it with you. But then when you see something so opposite to the thing you loved, and then almost trying to supersede it and say, well, that's what it is now, yeah, I didn't really appreciate that so much. So I needed some time off and healing time, shall we say, from that show, because it really... But hopefully we're going to have none of that again. And I'm really looking forward to going back to ANDOR. ANDOR was a breath of fresh air. The first time I watched it, as many as you know, that I didn't connect with it. I wasn't so keen on it. But then as we progressed through the show, I gave it another chance. I started to change my mind about it very quickly. And then I ended up loving the show. And I've watched the show twice more since then. I love the prison breakout that the Andy Serkis shows. There was real sort of deep meaning in some of those episodes, and it was really good. Stylistically, there were some bits which, you know, I could spot that it's London architecture and things, and little tweaks I would have made. But overall, I think ANDOR Season 1 was a lot more interesting, compelling, and visually more like Star Wars than other things have been, where it's been lacking so much, and it felt more like a Star Wars show. Even though some things it felt empty, there were a lot of things that it also got right as well. What I'm hoping Season 2 will build upon is drifting more towards Rogue One. I mean, I think they said that this was going to lead directly into Rogue One, which I hope that's the case, so there's going to be a real nice tie. A seamless time, so to say, but this means that you could build upon the Empire more with this, have more of a presence of stormtroopers. I'm hoping in this season there's going to be that, and Krennic, of course. Some of you who actually went to the Star Wars celebration in London 2016, God, that was a long time ago, had the pleasure of being in that hall room when Star Wars was completely amazing and exciting, and there was so much potential and hype, and it was amazing. And then Rogue One was just about to be released, and then director Krennic came on fully dressed up with Death Troopers and walked up and down.
Oh, it's beautiful.
So it's kind of nice that it had a real life in-person visualization of director Krennic and some Death Troopers. That was pretty cool. So I'm a strong advocate for director Krennic. I think he was a really interesting character in Rogue One. So in this trailer, I hope there's going to be some director Krennic in it at some point. Also, what I loved with Rogue One is the talking between Tarkin and director Krennic, where Krennic's always like, well, this is my idea, I built the Death Star, and then Tarkin's like, I'm going to be taking over effective immediately. And that, where I want to see that effort that Krennic's put in for him to be so pissed at Tarkin at the end of it, and give more meaning to Rogue One. Everything else for ANDOR was pretty crisp and clean, and it was a story which, it was a very personal story for ANDOR, which of course is what the Obi-Wan Kenobi treatment should have had, but never quite got there. And I've never rewatched Obi-Wan Kenobi. I don't think I can, because it was just such a fan film and a letdown in so many respects. There were some awesome scenes in there, and it's very easy to get caught up in that, because that's kind of what you've envisioned and wanted to see from the character interactions, and you get excited about it. But there were so many things in that equally which just thought this is not up to the level for which a George Lucas movie would have made in comparison. That's the only thing, is that knowing what George Lucas could create years ago, over 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago, to knowing what's being created now. Yeah, were TV shows the best idea? I'm not sure. I think for The Mandalorian, always worked. Though other subsequent shows, for names I will not hear again, just a big turn off for me. So I think just the level of consistency would be very nice. Andor has provided that, and I feel like Tony Gilroy will continue that with this one as well. We have not done this for some time. I feel a little bit rusty, but I'm very much looking forward to watching this trailer. Any more predictions? I think I don't think we're going to see the big dogs like Darth Vader or Tarkin. Death Star would be kind of nice, seeing that being built more. That'd be very nice. Krennic would be good. A lot more rebels in there, like the Rebel Alliance. That would be pretty cool. Imperial woman and her matey who works with her. The guy who was after Andor, who was just a bit odd. Will he still be after Andor? I don't know. But I'm really hoping that Andy Serkis managed to swim or make it through, and we see him just appear in one episode. That'd be really nice.
Can't swim!
There's quite a difference between Andor and Rogue One to the Andor we left in the end of season 1. So let's watch. There we go. Rebellion straight away. And Stormtroopers straight away. Perfect. I'm sold. Oh no. What's with this music? Birdstrike. Yes! Yes! That is what we want. I know they need all these reviews, I think, because we'll get on to that. Was that K2? I completely forgot about K2. Freaking hell. Melchi.
Remember this moment.
Save the rebellion. Save the dream.
You're right here, and you're ready to fight.
That literally was the same. Well, there we go. Was that a teaser? Well, there we go. Short and sweet, but jam-packed with a shed load of things which are very interesting. Completely forgot about K2. I don't know how I would have forgotten him, because he was the best part of Rogue One for me. I loved him. He was dry and different from C-3PO and just had a good sense of humour, but loyal and heroic at the end. So that building, that relationship between Cassian and K2 is going to be really nice in this show. I hope that's a lot of focus is put on that early on, so we get to see more of K2 and Andor together. That would be really nice, like his companion, and see how their sort of friendship and bond is formed. Also, a lot of Krennic in there, which is really nice. So from what you've seen from the trailer, the fact that he shows up a couple of times in there makes me think he's got more of a integral role in this show, which I really hope so. I hope the Imperial Security Bureau is perhaps lessened a little bit, and Krennic is brought in, and sort of the true might of the Empire and the strength there. The Stormtroopers in Rogue One, I think when they were shown on screen, they were contrasted with really nice landscapes, and the same things happened here. Like when we're on Rogue One, where they're out in the Bahamas or wherever it is, and you've got the pure blue water and the stormtroopers paddling through there. So visually, I think all of that trailer looked really nice. All of season 1 looked really good as well anyway, so you kind of expect it would continue. At the Star Wars trailer though, I get what that was doing. You've got to think about all of the things which have come before this show so far. I'm going to take out Skeleton Crew because I haven't really got a bearing on it at the moment, so I'm sort of coming fresh from that show, for which I cannot. I think going from that, you need to create something that's going to be a little bit different for a wider audience to bring them in, because I think Star Wars fans, myself included, have felt perhaps pushed away and thought, well, I'm clearly sort of not wanted there, so get the hint sort of thing. But I think with this, it's sort of showing that hello Star Wars fans, but the music also shows, well, this is for the more modern day audience, shall we say, who probably doesn't appreciate the things which I appreciate in terms of, and maybe you, in terms of Star Wars, is the music. With the modern day music with this, it doesn't fit with a Star Wars thing for me. It's a minor thing, it's a trailer, but for me, Star Wars is orchestral. John Williams is everything. The thing with Star Wars music and its importance was that when the first one was made, was that they brought back the old school way of orchestrating a movie rather than the sort of depressing genre music that was back in the 70s. And that obviously was a major part of Star Wars. It's very important that it's orchestral. For me as a fan, I've listened to Star Wars music every day since the first day I saw it in the cinema and heard John Williams. Like, obviously I loved all the sequel, the originals music, and I was obsessed with the Imperial March, but when I heard Duel of the Fates, something changed in me and I didn't listen to any other music, and since then I've been obsessed with orchestral music for movies and things. It's a very important part. So when people have been listening to, you go out with your friends, they listen to all this modern day music, I'm sort of sitting there going, God, this is rubbish, and I could never really get into it. But then when everyone would go with me, I would crank up the Star Wars music and they'd be like, why are you listening to this? I had to go through all of school like that. I was always listening to Star Wars music or some movie soundtrack music. So the importance of that is important for me in any Star Wars project, that it remains with the grain and it doesn't derive from something which is important to that. Through a trailer, the Rogue One trailer, when that came out, the music, I could still remember it. It's save the rebellion, save the dream, and
We destroyed our home.
the trailer music is an introduction for the amazing orchestral suite which is to follow. So I think Michael Giacchino, I think that's how he pronounced his surname, did a sterling job with Rogue One. And personally, from what we've had with Andor, I feel like it could have been two movies easily if they had their wits about them and knew what they were doing, which I don't think they did in Lucasfilm. I think Andor could have done nicely as two movies and had a nice sort of Star Warsy way about it in terms of the music, and it would fit nicely as like a Rogue One trilogy. So Andor 1, 2, then sort of Rogue One sort of together would have gone quite nicely there, I think. But as this trailer goes, more Mon Mothma, more Coruscant, more parties, more Andor, more blowing up things. So far what we've seen, you don't get told that much, but it looks good and I'm very much looking forward to seeing it. Now I know Celebration is just around the corner. I've been looking at all my old photos. I'm not going this year, and last year it didn't happen, so which means it's crazy how long it's been. But Celebration was set up by fans to begin with, so I don't get why the fans don't create something in between, or those who aren't going, sort of separate convention where people just dress up and meet each other, for which I would very much attend, dressed up as Obi-Wan Kenobi. But yeah, over at Star Wars Celebration in Japan, I think there's going to be a lot of emphasis on Andor over there. So kind of bummed out that I'm not going to it this year. If it was in America, then I would have been exceptionally tempted, somewhere a bit closer. But I've got to think about my whole squad heading down there as well. So I'll slot this in here as well during the last video in my break that I've got into collecting Hot Toys Star Wars and got quite a lot of unboxings to do and all that. If you would be interested in it, just let me know down below. But I hope you enjoyed this trailer action and seeing each other again. I look forward to watching the show together and reacting. But anyway, hope you're doing good. Take care of yourself. Remember, the Force will be with you always.